here we go. Here we go. Oh man, I still got the intro up. What is up, everybody? All right.
I like it because we're officially live.
We are cooking with grease, everybody. Hey, welcome, headhunters and executive recruiters. Come one, come all to the Headhunters and Boxers Talking Smack show with your boy DSP coming at you live. My favorite guest host, Neil Lebovits, and our special guest today, Tim Madden. Now, Tim, we're going to introduce him in a second, but before I do that, I got to tell you, Tim, I love the American flag behind you. What are you, some sort of patriot?
Hey, man, you know we're military veterans, man. What I don't tell a lot of people is I still serve part-time as a field artillery officer. So even though, and I won't get too much into it now, we've had, a successful run, I still serve part-time on the weekends shooting big guns, many miles, man. So you got to have the American.
So what you're saying is you could kill people with your hands if you wanted to in minutes, seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
Are you trained on hand? What's it called? Hand on hand? No, what's it called? Hand on hand? Hand to hand, right? Not hand on hand. That's David and I.
Is it man-on-man combat?
That's slightly different.
Different.
If they get that close to us, dude, we're not doing our job because we're supposed to blow them away way long before then.
But let's say you don't have your weapons. Let's say someone's trying to get man-on-man contact on you and you don't want it. It's unwelcome. Can you use then hand to hand?
Well, I'd probably use my bayonet knife first. So, if I didn't have my knife, sure.
Well, now I've got to ask you, so Tim, guns you're shooting. So how big is your gun? Is it like, for me, it's like a modest 12. I mean, it's like average from my understanding. But I assume it's average. But, the howitzer. Let's talk about the howitzer.
Yeah. Dude, it's big, man. It's big.
Massive.
So think of, I shoot the 777s, they call them. So put about 4 Denali's together, it shoots that. And when that thing rings, man, bro, if you've ever seen a video, when that thing rings, when that round goes out the chamber, I mean, it's shaking the ground. Like it's freaking.
Is that a giant, thick black gun?
It is a giant, thick black gun, and we do name them on the tube, and they're very inappropriate names.
And by the way, I was born on Fort Sill in Oklahoma, the artillery capital of the world. I'm sure you've spent some time in Fort Sill, haven't you?
That's where field artillery comes from, man. That's where I did my basic officer leadership course there. And I tell you what, man, it's fucking hot.
My father was artillery too.
It's super hot, man. I was there in the summer. Oh my God. And the wind, dude, we live in Florida where it's raining all the time. That wind, I'm telling 40, 50 miles an hour is a normal day there. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what a pussy I feel like? Like the New York Jew pussy boy with no weapons. I can't beat anyone up. I haven't been in a fight in my life. I'm a total pussy with our guests.
Your weapon is your mind. And your penchant for savings.
Oh my God. Is that a Jewish comment?
Might be.
Dude, if you were famous, if we had a sponsor and we had more than 4 viewers, this show would be done. You'd be all over CNN.
No, it's okay to make fun. It's okay to do that now. Like they're like, I'll be honest with you. You're the chosen people, right? My daughter is a Jew because it passed through the female line. Elisa, her mom was a Jew. Elisa's a Jew. My daughter's a Jew. So I'm a dirty Gentile. So
what's funny is my ex-wife was not Jewish. She was Catholic. And my kids always say are Jewish, but Jewish by injection is the joke.
That's a horrible joke. Well, that said, we've gotten off to a horrible start as we typically do here, and we have fallen off the rails as usual. Who are we talking to anyway? Tim Madden. So Tim, we didn't even introduce you yet. So Tim has been a buddy of mine for many years. I actually met him in the online kind of space. You're doing
online dating,
but little do people know he's actually not just a good looking face. Thank you for bringing up the show's quality. Dark side, and I don't mean HR. So that said, Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and what you do now, man.
Yeah. So I'm a military guy, right? So when I got off active duty 10 years ago, my last assignment was in recruiting and retention for the military. So I got out and I said, hey, it makes the most sense to kind of do the same shit. So I got into being an ops manager for a company that just did tremendous temp to hire, like hundreds of $millions a year on the manufacturing side. Then I went over to Randstad. Most people, there might be some people in the group where, learned about the whole direct hire deal and was successful there. And then I decided, for anyone who's in an agency, I'm like, hey, I worked at the largest agency in the world, right? I'm calling on people, trying to get a hold of them, and they're like, who the hell is Randstad? I'm like,
that would be a deco. I hate to burst your bubble. That's where I worked.
Okay, so it changed a little bit. I know they've been global leaders, but either way, large global organization.
He's the size queen, by the way. That's why he had to one up you on the size thing. He's a bit of a.
When I worked there,
I told you I got nothing going for me right now.
When I left, things went to shit, I guess. But no one knew, man. No one knew who the hell Randstad is, and not anyone. Some people know who Adecco and Randstad is, but I'm closing these deals. You get a 70K base, maybe 100K, maybe you're AVP or something, and then you get a percentage of the deal. And then I'm like, dude, this shit don't make sense. You're closing 100K direct hire deals, collecting 10%, and all they're giving you is a computer and a brand that no one knows. It didn't make sense. So my buddy from active duty says, hey, you're doing this staffing thing. Is it profitable? I'm like, dude, it's super profitable. And then he said, could we do it better? And I'm like, yeah, most of these guys are idiots. And he said, could we help veterans? And I said, absolutely. And then we took that organization from starting inside of living in his brother's freaking room. And
Thank you for not saying garage. Thank you for that not being an inside a garage. I was about to give you shit.
We were in a room, and the first month, no one knew us. And by the way, at this time I lived in Fort Lauderdale. He says, Tim, I live in Lakeland, Florida. That's where I'm from, in between Tampa and Orlando. And I'm like, shit. We go there. No one knows us. We don't have a website. We have an email that we paid $5 for. And dude, we go to town, start calling people and emailing people and finding people. That first month, we made $35,000, man. Not a bad first month for getting started on your own.
People don't realize, I get these people that say, I've gotten so much flack about, I have this line I always like to say, you don't learn how to start, so you don't start a business knowing how to start a business. You learn how to start a business by starting a business. People need a plan, need this, and it. No, all you need to do
it's a school hard knocks, man. It's exactly where they're totally.
And I'm glad I did this.
I wasn't incorporated. Like, I didn't have a business bank account.
Yeah, dude. We literally. Yeah, we just.
But you still had your DS penis, That was key. You've always had the DS penis.
That's my penis is my closer.
And for perspective, me and him tried to start it 6 months before. We wanted to do what everyone who doesn't want to fucking commit does. Hey, let's work our jobs where we're working 40 to 60 hours a week, and let's do this on the side and never have it grow. So when we made the decision to say, this is it, we're going all in. Here's where I was financially, by the way. I had about $2,000 in my bank account, and I had my credit cards. And I said, I literally remember calling my best friend Jay in Indianapolis saying, hey, dude, I'm taking a big leap right now. And I just want to say, if I don't have a place to live, I lose all my money, I can't get any more money, I max my credit cards out, they repo my car, can I come live with you if shit goes to hell? He said, absolutely. And I said, hey, man, because I'm going all in. Because I tell you what, I hope if you're watching this and you're trying to start a business, I hope you don't have the money. I hope it's painful. Because when your back's up against the wall, that's when you're forced, man, to make shit happen. Period.
Because people, I love when people
get spicy, and that's when the magic happens. 100%. That's when you're working day and night, and you're willing to try to close. A lot of recruiters I found, a lot of salespeople, they call, they get objection, and they're like, oh, okay, thanks. I was talking about this earlier in the Facebook group. They get objection, they say, oh, okay, thanks, bye. Well, let me know next time, whatever. Like, when your back's up against the wall, no, you need to close that every single person.
Right. You don't. Your objection handling becomes real, which is why everything becomes real. And to talk to your point, what I find hysterical is when I get people that want to work with me, and they're like, "Oh, I have a launch date." Like they talk to me like now, I got a launch date of January 18th. I'm like, what? A launch date. Get on the phone. Well, I want to get this. I want to get my ATS. I want to get this. We're working on the website. So I'm like, just freaking Work on all that stuff. That's not the business. You'll get it. You don't need to just go do it. Get LinkedIn, get a LinkedIn automator, and move on.
Dude, when I started, we didn't even have LinkedIn. I literally had my ATS was literally, I would print resumes and I would stack them. I had stacks on my desk in these little folders, and that was my ATS basically at the time. And yeah, man, I just did it. I had $100 laptop that I bought refurbished, and just made shit happen. You know what I mean? And so, and then of course, obviously, I went through I think 9 offers or something like that. They're all turn downs, which sucked. It was my worst stretch of turn downs I've ever had, and at the worst possible time. But when that one finally hit for like $28,000, oh man, I was in business, right?
We did a couple $1 million off Excel spreadsheets. So if you're thinking about what do you don't confuse yourself and overwhelm yourself.
It's an excuse. It's an excuse. People are excusers, right?
Yeah.
They always got to think about
and we'll talk about this briefly. Now I'm in executive coaching. We'll meet with people now who says, no one's hiring in the fourth quarter. I think I'm just going to wait till next year. What do you think? And these are guys who've been searching for 4 months. And I'm joking with them. I'm like, you're right, man. You've already waited 4 months. You might as well wait 5 more. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? The best day to start some shit was yesterday, and to follow, we started in August. When we wrapped up in December, we netted 230, dude. And I'll tell you, our first placements, those first few months when I was getting started, we didn't know who we were targeting. We weren't like this official brand. We were like, dude, if someone can give us a deal, we're going to fucking find people. And do you know who our first placements was? I don't think I've ever shared this with you, David. We placed 3, like basically junior journeyman welders at $8K a pop. We placed like 3 of those. We placed an admin. So at this point, I wasn't even doing like a high, trying to collect a big, huge fee or something. Just to get started, just to get a couple deals to inject some cash so you have some opportunities. Now in hindsight, no, make sure your target very important. But back then I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just, dude, an action taker, man.
100%. Dude, a lot of times
and was it all military?
So here's the way it worked. Dude, we tried to find a military guy. That's the way we pitched it as. And we always told him, hey, if we can't find a nuclear physicist, who in this small town who has this, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we'll find you a civilian guy. So the pitch was, we focus on vets. However, we're a business. If we can't find you a vet, we'll still find you a qualified candidate. How
much of the business is the vet business? How much did it evolve?
Probably about 70 to 80%.
Now I have a question about the vets thing. Now, when it comes to the vets, now do they specialize in like dogs or cats, or like what kind of animals typically do they specialize in?
It seems like a really hyper niche. Yes,
it's very hyper niche, but it's a niche to go into, right? Veterinarian services are huge.
All right, listen.
So what do they specialize in? Animal wise.
All right, I hope you're joking right now. Military veterans.
That's
shit, David. You don't remember the
K9 unit, stuff like that then, right?
No, I'm just messing with you. So we did military veterans too, Neil. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people, they get with me all the time too. Oh my God, your mission. It must be so easy to sell your services to companies. No, way harder to sell it than normal.
I would think,
when they think of a veteran, they think of some guy who's killed 20 people, has PTSD, has disabilities or some stuff,
Pretty much all of them.
No, we got wrecked out there, man. Like, it was a hard sell, dude. But just like Neil said, we were confident, we had conviction, and we had passion, and it resonated with people, and that's why they signed up to do business with us.
Well, also, you talked about getting that first deal. A lot of it is you have that passion, that conviction, and just getting that first deal, just knowing that I can do this. Like, somebody will pay me money without that big Landscape name attached to me.
People overthink this shit so much. Guys, follow me here. The day I decided to take action, I called still. I wasn't into the digital, like everything's David doing. I didn't get there till later. I did the old school David method from when he got started, dude, just ping people, essentially cold call them. My 8th call, I got a deal, dude. It was so simple. I connected, everything rung, and I think it's just because when you make a claim to the universe, man, that you're like, I'm going to the island. I'm burning the boats. It's got to happen. Dude, the universe rewards you. And that's what I did. At my first day, dude, I got rewarded.
Now you're bragging because it took me 9 offers in 6 months and just grind.
It's the law of attraction. Law of attraction, right? That's what they call it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So do you think video helped you? Because you're a very handsome man. Again, David brings on, I don't know why he partnered with me, because we've had very handsome guests. And again, I'm very straight, so I'll tell you guys, you don't have to worry about me. But you're very handsome. So did video help you land the female clients and maybe even some of the bi-curious men?
Dude, I didn't even do anything on video. Dude, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I mean, later when it evolved. Do you ever do any like digital stuff now? Or are you still sticking to the original?
Oh, no, dude, if you're, and that's one thing I told David I wanted to talk about. If you're not doing digital stuff now, if you're not doing anything on LinkedIn, if you're not doing anything on Facebook, if you're not doing anything on Instagram, dude, like, and you own a business, something's wrong with you.
You know, speaking of that, I will tell you this. Speaking of that, and Neil, you actually made me think of this. You talk about, doing video, do digital to attract some of the ladies or that. And I also think it'd be a good job to be a script writer for porn movies. Like a porn script writer. We don't have to write much.
It's difficult to remember your part, dude. Think about how difficult, how much pressure would you be under to remember your script?
Yeah, dude, it'd be like little, like, okay, say, oh yeah, like 7 times, oh yeah, and then that, dude, being a porn script writer, dude.
Do you write in it, insert music, or do you write insert bow chicka bow wow? Right? Like
insert bow chicka bow wow. You say it like that. I think I spell it
bow wow.
Bow wow. Anyway, but let's talk about that, because a lot of the people here are into or getting into the LinkedIn automation. I remember when I first came out, I started talking about the little things like duck soup and downloading your contacts, which you can't do anymore. And I remember at the time, like, and it seems like everybody now is pretty knowledgeable about it, but at the time, like, no one was. So LinkedIn automation now has gotten to the point where it's relatively well known at a certain level. But let's say, because you've been really big on LinkedIn, what have you done beyond just your typical duck soup? But like, what kind of nuggets can you give some of these recruiters to maybe get their LinkedIn automation game on point?
Soft. Do not, if you're pitching people.
No. We're not talking about David's penis. We're talking about LinkedIn. Don't get confused.
It's actually luxurious. It's luxurious.
People don't want to be pitched, man. It's a damn turnoff. Dude, you try that stuff on LinkedIn. You know what I'm talking about. People are going to actually tell you to F off or go screw yourself or all this crazy stuff. So my biggest tip is the lightest approach, and what worked best for me, and I even do this on the executive coaching side, what's worked the best for me is, hey, I do this in Tampa, hypothetically, and I'm trying to connect with decision makers in Tampa, right? Hey, I do this. And in Tampa, and I thought it made sense to connect. Here's what I do. Just a light approach, dude. Not trying to schedule them to a call, not trying to book them, not trying to tell them how great you are in the first message, dude. Just like the lightest approach that you can do through this process, because if not, they get turned off from the get-go. You know what I mean?
100%.
I know you offer different niches and industries and et cetera, and you might be reaching out to candidates or decision makers, but dude, just do a soft, light, non-pitchy approach, and trust me, it will serve you very well.
Well, what I like actually on that soft approach you're talking about, one of the nuggets I like to give out is, this is a kind of a Jedi mind trick, but if you in your message, like how you say, hey, I'm just looking to connect, anything I could do, you're offering value, anything I can do to let me know. I always find if I always add in a line, after the line, if there's anything I can do, let me know, whatever you say. And after that, say, oh, and by the way, if there's anything of interest in my profile, feel free to reach out. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's going to have clickbait. They're like, what's in his profile? And they're going to go look. And if you got a good, solid profile, it's like one of those things where, because it's basically a clickbait is what it is. It's like Brad Pitt texted Angelina, you'll never believe what he said. Fuck, what did he say? It's human human curiosity, you know?
And then I put at the bottom, these are not the droids you're looking for. They go straight for the Jedi mind trick. I don't even beat around the bush. Just right in there. They're like, what does that mean? And then you talk about
because I mean,
that was the Jedi mind trick, the Obi-Wan.
like I know you guys get the emails a day, and you've never got an email from this person, and the first email you get is, my name is David Stephen Patterson, and I specialize in accounting, blah, 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 and we find the best candidates. And dude, they get 100 of those emails a day from people across the country, man.
I don't sound that nerdy.
David, especially, David believes in customer service, and clients come first. And David separates excellence from mediocrity, you know? So, you know, he stands out.
I thought you were going to go sexual with that one at first.
Or you're reaching out right away saying, I want to help you achieve your business goals. They're like, who the F is this guy? Like, what? It's crazy.
You know what I do that really helps? Like, because I played with all of them. I use LinkedIn automation much more than many believe in. And so I'll have like my ebook. I'll give people lots of tools. Like, hey, this is cool. Thought you would like it. I'll ask people to help me with my edit. Like, what do you think just real fast? You'll love this. I made some edits. Check it out. If it helps, let me know what you think. They could figure out what I do. I'll do it later. I agree with you. Because automation for me only really happened in the last 2 years. And I did all the things you talked about. I have people really pissed off. I don't love when people get really pissed off at me. It's really hard for me not to respond. Like, aren't you a friggin' recruiter? Don't you do stuff like this? Like, I'm sorry, get over it. Or, well, you don't know your audience very well. Obviously, I'm not the hiring maker. I'm like, look, I didn't look that carefully. You're my audience because you put a stupid freaking title in that doesn't belong to you, and LinkedIn picked you up. Get over it, you know?
Dude, people are brutal, man. People are brutal online.
Recruiters are the worst, man. You guys out there are brutal. I sell to recruiters because this is the rejection that recruiters get so much that when they can give it, when someone does, oh my God, I get it. It's amazing.
The worst person to cold call is a telemarketer, someone who cold calls themselves, because they will, which sucks. Because I think, but you know what I think? I think the worst person to call is a bad salesperson, because a good salesperson, gang recognizes game. And if you're a good salesperson, you call a good salesperson, boom. But it's when you call a bad salesperson, that's when they're like, eh. But I will say this, as far as like Neil has a very much more confrontational, screw you, man, type of approach. I'm just kidding. But the one that I will say that about kind of combining Neil's approach and Tim, so I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. So I do a softer approach. I definitely have a game plan moving forward. But one thing I find that's been really effective for me and clients is like being oblivious. So for example, if I'm messaging out something and I've got a purpose to it, and they respond back with no thanks. Like, how do you respond to that? Well, I have a response, but for most people, they say, well, how do I respond? They say no thanks. It's very much like, oh yeah, hey, just want to see how you're doing, or hey, I'm finding this in the marketplace. What are you seeing out there? And they say no thanks. It's very dismissive. So what I'll do is I play the oblivious idiot. I'm like, I just see the thanks. I'm like, so I'll say, oh yeah, sure, my pleasure. Anyway, and I keep moving forward. And a lot of times it turns the conversation around because it kind of takes them aback and like, and it kind of crystallized the fact that they were kind of rude to me. Now still nice back to them, and I kept moving forward.
No thanks is rude. I actually move on the no thanks.
No. It's no. It is. All no thanks is. Here's what a no thanks is. You were a strapping young lad back in the you were back in the 60s. You were in your 20s, right? So back in the 1962, when you were in your 20s, and you were hitting the club scene, and you wanted to talk to a girl. You walk up to her, and she's like, "I got a boyfriend," and it's not because of you. You're a good-looking, strapping young man, but she's just it's your defense mechanism. She's just getting hit on all the time. She just wants to be there with her girlfriends. Right now, that said, does it mean she would be interested in you? Probably, maybe she would be. So just as that person says no thanks, they're just dismissive because they're being bombarded. So give it another shot. Just don't see the no. Just pretend they say thanks. Oh yeah, sure, my pleasure. Anyway, boom. You'd be surprised how many of those you could turn around that turn out to be clients.
And then I love what you're talking about right now, because for anyone watching this is some very deep psychological shit that I'm glad that you're bringing up, Derek, or David, because not a lot of people talk about this, dude. This deep, like, how do you keep going when people say no? Do you stop, or is it just, I'm walking, I'm pissed off, my wife just said something, but you know what? Let me still continue to provide a little bit of value. And that's where the importance of, just like Neil was talking about, this email sequence, like how do you warm up a lead, man? How do you take a lead from cold contact to now possibly wants to work with you?
I'll tell you what I do that works like a charm in all seriousness. And I don't believe in, like, some people do get nasty. I've only gotten nasty once, and it was recently. I did my whole automation, and it was 5 messages. And then the guy probably like, you're really annoying me. Knock it off. This is his only message in 5. So I wrote, in which I never do, that yes, I would have knocked it off. The way to stop that is by actually replying to a message, right? Which I never do that, right? What I normally do when they reply anything, so if they reply, it's good. Most people just delete it. If they reply, no thanks, that's when I totally take it from automation and I pick up something on their background to banter about. The name of their company and a school they went to. A quick research. I'm like, oh yeah, I thought I'd do it because you were a dog, and like in college. By the way, my brother went there. I thought it was really cool. Or your name cracked me up. I had to write to you. You have the best name. Like Stephen Gamble. Like that's awesome. Like how many times? Like I'll take it personal, and people then. Look, it was automated. Most know it. It's amazing how many people don't know it's automated. That blows my mind. But I take it into the real world if they reply, because most don't, right? So I don't get that many no thanks. I get many people that just delete.
Well, I'll tell you what I found to be very successful, and I'm sure it works in the headhunting space too, because I do the career coaching aspect now, right? So people will say through automated messages, no thanks, and I'll say this message: hey, that's okay. I'm so happy that you're glad where your career is right now, and you don't want to change it. Because I kind of just Jedi mind trick them, and then they're like, oh shit, actually, I fucking hate my job. So all these people that you're messaging where they say no thanks, or like from a headhunting aspect, hey, I'm glad that your occupancy is 100%. You got a bunch of rock stars. The team's going well. You're killing it. Dude, that's awesome. Dude, respond with the message like that and see what he's going to say.
Yo, Chuck
just like what she says. I've got a boyfriend, and you're like, oh, I'm sure he's awesome. But awesome, I bet you just lay it on thick, But yeah, it's because it is definitely a pattern and a rut when you do that.
Oh yeah, man.
Very much so.
Dude, it does. Because hey, people are being hit by 5,000 ads a day. So what we were going to talk about too is just like that follow-up sequence, how important it is. Because I know most headhunters, dude, they connect with you one time. Like, do you think one thing's going to do it? Dude, you're crazy, man. I've sometimes emailed and followed up with people 20 or more times. Dude, the 1 year anniversary email in the CRM, hey, it's been 1 year since I've been trying to get you on the phone, man, to talk about blah, 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 But
well, dude, I'll tell you what, a lot of it too is like, those first initial objections you get, like the no thanks or the F.
We're already working with somebody.
Oh,
hey, I'm glad they're doing exceptionally well, and you don't want to pay vendors, and they're perfect. Yeah.
Well, a lot of they're smoke screens. It's like they don't really become objections until you give them oxygen. Now, if it comes up again, they're all right, made this real objection. But at the first objection, you just slip past it and keep going. So, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Boom, keep going. Because I like that style better. It's for one, it's easier to remember, especially in the midst of a conversation. To remember a rebuttal that you've practiced many times, never used it. But
Chuck will run here, but I have people yell at me in one call. And the next day they're giving me a search, which is so true. I tell everyone, if you get someone truly being nasty or yelling at you, they are, and I was told this very early on in my career, they can become your best clients. I always respond back with a super sweet message. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry that it had, like let them know. I'm sure that my intentions were awesome. Like they expect me to be nasty or to delete it. And I just come back with something really sweet that, look, I'm just trying to make a living. I know it must be a rough day. Obviously, this was on top of many others like this. They always reply, they apologize immediately. Hey, look, I'm really sorry I took it out on you. Or you're right, it's been a stressful week. Yes, I just had and they'll tell you a story and you become friends with them. I've had many turnarounds like that. Many.
Absolutely. So you got to become friends with them too. And I'll tell you, there was one time when I worked at the first ops, running that, where we had a client who was about to bail. They called me yelling at me and everything. You just be cool, calm, and collected. And I'll tell you what, not only did they stay with us, for another 12 months. I'm pretty sure that we billed them like $1.8 million. So, dude, smooth it over, because you never know where people are coming from when they tell you to F off in this. Dude, who knows, man? Their wife could have cheated on them. They could have, their dad
Also,
just could have died. Who knows, man?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, another thing you can also do as well is that you can also use humor. So for me, I'm going to show this here. This is one of my favorite comebacks. So this is F off, or I don't want to meet. Like, are you sure? And you send that, and that can crack them open. Another thing that I like to do, I don't have it pulled up
Mr. Bean's,
here.
Mr. Bean's going to go viral now, David, because you said that.
I know, I'm going to use it now. It's one of my favorites. Now another one I like is I don't have it here pulled in front of me. It's just, so here's a little nugget too. So my email, what we've done here recently is in our very last email. So if we send an email exchange, like a sequence, and they're just not responding, I get it. Look, we expect majority not going to respond anyway, so that's fine. But what I want to do is on the final email, what we're doing now is we kind of make a funny email, make it silly, make it memorable. And so in the email we're doing now, it's like I don't want to get the full email out because it's kind of just as we're using for our clients. But in that email, though, we have a cartoon strip of Dilbert. And so in the final one is our message basically is, hey, look, I know you didn't reply back. Totally okay. Look, if this isn't relevant to you right now, get it. So how about this? Here's a little funny that I found that my team cracked up about. If your team could take a joke, maybe you could show it to them too, right? And so the cartoon strip is basically is that the Dilbert manager, he's talking to his employees and he says, yeah, I heard that you're supposed to hire people that are smarter than you. And the next frame, it says to his employees, he says, maybe I'll try that next time. And the next frame is just them being like, and it's kind of funny because he's making fun of this team being dumb. And I've gotten a lot of great response from that. Just as, hey, if your team could take the joke, here you go. My team thought it was hilarious.
Do you think it's more that, or do you use Garfield or Ziggy? Is it really Dilbert as what's the go-to final?
Dilbert's that cartoon is my go-to because it's not just giving them something funny. It says, hey, if your team could take a joke, show it to them. So I'm giving them something to do. You know what I mean? As opposed to just sending them
a nice little sarcasm. I like Garfield's style.
Yeah. Or there's other ones. I've got a.
David's ignoring me. Totally ignoring this. You don't.
I am ignoring you.
Just talking right over me.
So what about Garfield? So I don't know. So what?
Bad about Garfield. I don't
know.
Really, that's all I had.
I don't know Ziggy. All I know is Garfield eats lasagna, which is freaking weird for a cat. But that said, come up with. But here's or something else. Something that ties the cartoon in. So, for example, another one I've used for a client of mine who is an attorney. I'm sorry. He's a recruiter for attorneys. And so I've got a law firm one in there as well. So, you try to make it relevant if you can. But if you do something like that and make it relevant and give them something to do, you can get a response. And look, one of the biggest things, even if they don't use services right there, get them to reply. As soon as they reply once, they're more likely to reply again, even if it's months later.
Yeah, listen, and the people that reply with passion and nastily, they have the same trait the other way around. Their personality is a bell curve. They become your they really do. It's not a cliche. They'll become your greatest fan. The same people that will bitch about how bad a service is and they'll go out of their way to kill you on social media will be the one that will refer you to people every time they ask for someone. Same people. Same people.
100%.
And, it loosens people up, man. Everyone thinks like, oh, I'm trying to reach out to a COO or a director to Fortune 5 or whatever. Dude, trust me, these guys are people. They're raunchy. I'm telling you, they're getting drunk on them. These are just people, man. So it's okay.
They're watching their porn at night,
Exactly. You don't, it's okay to loosen up a little bit sometimes and not just have to be like super professional all the time.
Right, because I know they watch their porn at night, I'll sometimes send a dick pic. Oh. Just for the reaction. Why did you just I hope this isn't someone's relative when I said dick pic.
So that's it. Well, it depends on the dick. So there's another one I send out. You can send out too. And again, it kind of depends on the context and how you're messaging, but here's another one when at the end of a sequence, the whole crazy girlfriend meme. And so it's kind of like you send it, say, hey, I'm not trying to be, I know you're not responding to me. I want to shut up now. I don't want to be the crazy girlfriend. So you can throw that in there as well. Things like that, just to make fun of yourself. is good. Or you do the dick pic technique, which is pretty solid.
No, it's never worked. It's never worked. I'll say that.
It has not worked.
I changed the strategy because I send it to guys. I should send it to the female objectors.
Well, I tell you what. I should do the dick pic technique. Actually, I think mine would close. I think mine would close 100%.
You mix your dick pic with some DS penis, it'll be a home run.
Some DS penis. Well, all right. This show is going to go through. So how about let's talk about this. So we'll talk about LinkedIn automation. You know, one thing, Tim, you've been really, really good at is organic LinkedIn, because I know that's kind of how you started in the career coaching thing that you do. Is you were doing lots of like organic stuff. Mm-hmm. So beyond that, beyond the automation stuff, what are you doing organically to build your brand and build your name value and all that kind of jazz?
Yeah. So here's the beauty with, you got their email, you DM'd them on LinkedIn, but David talks about this all the time, this omnipresence. And this silly little stupid thing, which no one wants to freaking do, called content on LinkedIn, is so powerful. But here's what happens. You post it one time, shit, Neil, it didn't work. I didn't get 3 new clients. But I'm telling you, staying consistent with just sharing anything, posting anything, it's just a follow-up, if you will, to everyone you've ever DM'd and everyone you've ever emailed. They start seeing your name and your tagline, and from a branding perspective, then they start thinking about you. So don't get too caught up on the content, but just delivering some type of valuable content, story, here's what pissed me off, here's a myth or whatever. You have to have people, I know, I say this all the time, like, know, and trust you. And when you can do that, the first step is just showing up consistently to them. And I'll tell you, there's some days where my inbox is blowing up just from people who are asking questions, etc. And guess what? They're off posts that no one liked or commented. Or a week later, someone who's working with me, hey, I saw your post on this. So I'm telling you, this silly little thing about creating a couple contents or sharing an article or whatever, and I'm sure David will attest to this, has done amazing things for the business.
Huge. I'll tell you a great topic. If and I always say this, if you can't think of what do I write about, because there's always how to interview a top, like everybody fucking writes the same thing. Like, it's better than nothing. But if you want something that gets a lot of eyeballs, Tim said it, talking about myths. Think of a commonly held misconception in your business, take it and deconstruct it. Myth bust it that's one of the most people love that. If you want to get some virality, don't do it every day, but have that as a go-to. Myth busting is one of the best things in the world you could do, because it's easy to do. There's always commonly held misconceptions. Take one, deconstruct it. Boom.
And these taglines, these little taglines that you start your initial post with are so important, man. And I know David comes from kind of his method. He talks about rock star candidates, right? Because that maybe resonates with his, because that's what people are, dude, I want a rock star. Well, mine, a good tagline that's worked for me, which just the open rate and the show rate of this post was crazy. It's thanks for applying, but now we're going to ghost you. Dude, that email rate had like an 80% open rate. It got traction on LinkedIn and stuff. And so, think about, what are your clients thinking about, man? In what industry and what niche? Like, what are they thinking about that's a common nuance that they might be kind of pissed off about? Guarantee you it will get traction.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's like, for example, in my space in SAP, for example, I know one of the biggest issues, at least one that I've always had people resonate with, say like an SAP director or VP, like they're always pissed off that these big consulting firms are overpaying for basically junior consultants, right? And these junior consultants come in, and these managers feel like they're basically paying Accenture to have them train their junior people on their side. Like it pisses them off. And if I say that, it's weird. Almost everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, I hate that," because it's like a deep in the resonates. Find that within your audience, Again, or here's one. I love this one. I've always used it because it's always been my go-to. It's a great one, but it's that there's two I use for recruiters. One is, that the feeling that when you come home one day and your wife sits you down at the dinner table and she says, honey, maybe you should find a real job.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That hits you in the gut. And the other one is, I've used this one lately, but I've always thought that it was funny, is the feeling that you get when you're a candidate that you just placed and you've already spent that money that you're about to receive, right? The candidate starts on Monday and you get that email on Friday at 5 p.m. And you're like, you're sweating. Like, right? And so because they all know the feeling. If you're not a recruiter, you're not going to understand it. You don't get it. Oh shit! It's time for news. So Tim, in case you don't know, we do we have a little news thing. We do this like it's like a Morse code news ticker. Or remember from a Caddyshack. Remember Caddyshack? Remember that Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Anyway, where'd Neil go
this week?
Neil.
Yes.
Neil.
We lost you, man. Where'd you go?
Neil.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Really? Let me. Because I changed my friggin' camera to get the thing. Hold on.
I can't see your corporal.
All right. Let me. Yeah. So nothing at all. It's frozen.
Oh man, that's all right. It's actually, I think the show quality has kind of improved a little bit actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think we're good. We agree. Oh shit, our viewership just shot up.
Can you see me now?
Oh my God, we broke double digits on viewage. Oh man, Neil, you're good.
Stay hidden.
You don't see me now?
No, I don't see you now.
How
I
about
see
now?
you now.
Nice.
Oh,
Ding, 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 ding,
we lost our audience. All right.
Okay.
Staff
So,
news. Here we go.
News today. We'll start with the funniest one to me. Because God, you know me with these surveys. Now, this is from Bloomberg, okay? So where the hell do they get this? So COVID-19, how do you think it has affected the workday in terms of time? We already know all these stories in productivity. Has it increased or decreased the amount of time that people are working? And if so, by how much? Take a guess.
I would say, well, we're excluding people who are out of work. I'm assuming, right? Because that was
yes, I think that would be a safe bet.
So did it increase or decrease, and by how much? I'm gonna go with decrease by 90 minutes.
Interesting.
Per day.
I'm gonna go. I think it decreased by almost half.
Wow, really? Work days?
Oh shit, Tim's going hard in the paint here.
That's significant. So the answer is, and this is a big one. Okay, this is by Bloomberg. They studied 3.1 million people. So this is a massive one. And Crane had published this, so it was a big one. The COVID, it lengthened the workday. And I guess I buy that, especially when people say that their productivity has increased by 48.5 minutes, so a bit less than an hour.
Well, now I guess what I mean is, so I was thinking like they're not
hard for me to start working at home, man. It was so hard. Maybe I'm just an anomaly. Now I still work remote or whatever. But when I first started, dude, it was so hard.
It's hard.
We talk about
it is very hard.
a lot of shows, right? We do. We talk about that, and we talk about that when we see these things that show how much productivity people say has increased, which I call BS on, for the reason that you talk about.
Yeah, well, what's the productivity? Are they spending more time in front of their computer and logging more hours, but now for 4 hours they're on Facebook and TikTok?
Yeah, well, exactly. But how do they get it anyway? It's not like they put in boxes on their computer. They're polling people. Now, granted, this is a massive one, right? 3 million people and done by Cranes is huge. But it'll be like saying, Neil, do you consider yourself an excellent communicator with your girlfriend? Hey, yeah, I am. I'm better now than ever. No, I suck, but I can tell you whatever I want. So I think it makes sense in light of the other things that we had. There's less commuting, right? So, and where I come from in New Jersey, we're the highest commuting time in the world, for everyone most people work in New York.
This is me working, by the way, at home. I'm hustling. Or actually, we get into an argument.
Excellent, David. Very good for you. Thank you. That is my Kermit frog. I've never done that. That's not bad. I never even tried a Kermit. Not good. So we're done
really
with
good Kermit meme I want to put out there, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate.
That news is full of hell.
Anyway,
so hopefully, if you're working in your business right now and you are a solo person and you do own business, hopefully that shit's right.
Dude, I tell you what, working from home though is hard initially because there's so many distractions and you have to be very self-motivated.
Absolutely.
And I will say this, if you can, and also the psychological part of it, because one of the biggest things I see are the folks that when you're off work and you leave and you're still at the house. And it's like you have to have a clear separation. When I first started working from home many years ago, I would go to the bar, which is not good, not healthy. But I'll go to the bar because I just want to get the hell out. And we're going to go to the fucking park? No, I'm going to go socialize. I go to the bar. I had a local place I went to, ate dinner. I had all my friends, my bar friends would be there, and I get hang out at the other. But do that every night, it's not healthy. And so, but now I don't do that. But it takes a while to build up that sort of the right mentality. Because we're conditioned. It's like being in school, man. Like public school just conditions us to be drones. Work this thing. We're conditioned to go drive a half hour in and go in the cubicle and yes, sir, TPS report. Oh, thank God it's Friday. Oh man, I gotta go work on Monday. Oh, it's Hump Wednesday and all that bullshit, right? We're so indoctrinated in that shit. And it's home. So we don't know.
It's a weird human psychology because when I first started, I was like, I've got to make this happen. Then we start making money. And then about 6 or 7 months later, I found myself getting extremely laxed, saying, hey, we got this. I only need to work 10 to 15 hours a week. You know, we've made all this. And that, dude, that's a bad place to be if you want to grow a business. So I went through the years of sabotaging yourself. And, you know, I think it's just one of those things where, dude, it's an initiation into doing it, you know?
Yep.
It is. Well, and also to piggyback off that, and I know I'm kind of mess up the news section, but I will say, cheap plug in our accelerator program, we were doing a mindset lesson about 2 days ago on the 12 mindset blocks, keeping you from success and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, book a call. But that said, one of the mindset blocks we're talking about is that the fear of success. And a lot of times it's that you get a little bit of success and then it's almost like it's too good to be true.
Or you think you've made it.
Or you think you made it. You don't think you made it? Yeah.
All right, so let me take that and bring the group down a little bit then with another a poll by the conference board. And actually, there's good news and bad news, right? You can always look at both in terms of positivity. But what does it? So in terms of CEOs that have been surveyed, and this was thousands of CEOs, 38% are expecting to see reduction in the workforce over the next 12 months. So again, that's a lot. Now, granted, that's also saying 62% expect that conditions in the next 6 months, in that case, are going to improve. And just to give you a little more stats, but that number was down because the optimism was 71%. That was just done last quarter. So the optimism has dropped down. But again, you're getting these people, 38% still a lot, and they expect wages to decrease.
Or they've already cut what they're going to cut. You know what I mean? They may not be optimistic, but they've already done their cuts and they're kind of established what they need to do before they move forward. There could be that as well, possibly.
And maybe that's a good.
No, this is actually reducing their workforce. Or actually, 38% expect to reduce them. But the other percentage that they may not be thinking these might get better. They've already cut what they're going to cut. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm splitting hairs here. It doesn't matter.
That's just another point right now. So hey, if your business, if you're watching this, you know, and you do own your own practice or whichever you're part of your firm, if numbers are going down, if you've seen that, dude, you got to kick up that activity. Yeah. That's what I noticed right when this started happening. My wife was telling me, what are you going to do? And I was like, dude, we're doing more, right? We're doing just more engagement.
Does she like when you call her dude?
We're going to do more engagement. You know, just so you have to kick up the activity when these markets contract. Dude, you have to get in front of more people.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great way when you're recruiting people to use these stats. So we share them, not to bring a group down, but you know, these people shouldn't be loyal right now when you're recruiting them. Yeah, because the companies aren't, and you can show them the stats. They're not. They're going to reduce 38% of them. It might not be you, But go to a company that's doing much better. Go to an industry that's doing better. Go to a place that's closer to home, or you know.
Hey Neil, I think we lost David. Man, you're going to have to take over as host. He lost his
voice.
Yeah,
we lost his audio. No, we want you.
We can't hear you, brother. No, we can't even hear you a little bit.
I think the show's really picked up now. Oh,
yeah,
finally.
I know.
It's
going up, Neil.
I'm gonna take myself out of this. Hold on a second. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
You're back.
We can hear you now.
Oh, all right. Now let's have a real show. Ding dong, the witch is dead. I declare today of independence for all the Munchkins and their descendants.
He just started talking, and then he logged off, Neil. It just started.
I know, I came back. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the DSP is dead. You know what? We could just talk crap now because he always brings us back. But anyway.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah. David, the show was.
You can hear me.
Yes.
I can't hear you. Oh, hold on a second.
Well, let's.
David,
right, how about now?
Could you hear us, David?
I can't hear anybody here.
He goes full bore, Neil. He has a recording studio in his damn
house. What's going on?
Probably.
I know.
He's got a box and a bunch of stereo cables, and you know.
Yep. But you know what? The show's going to be coming to an end.
That's what this is.
David's never had this, but we're watching him. Watch his panic. Look at the little sweat on the brow. Little sweat's coming up there. So your take on our last story, and then if David's not back, we'll wrap
Nothing.
up.
Oh man, it's not good.
Another one there. So this is for people that are interested in part-time gigs or temporary work. You know, I'll always put that out there because I think the temp business is massive. Everyone needs to get into it, not just because I have a back office that processes these people. So 53% of people. These were just polling people interested in these kind of gigs are earning less than half of pre-pandemic income. How's that? And 22% of these, so a quarter of these people working flexible jobs are looking for side gigs. Surprising?
That's not important. Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh yeah, I fixed it.
So what's important? My news story's not.
How are people living, man? How are you going to have
the Richard's Dead song for you?
All right, I missed the news article. Can you repeat that one for me?
Well, I think we're good. I think it's time for our closing. But we did the show was amazing. That was the best maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the show ever.
It was. I made
the viewers actually.
You didn't hear my voice for a while. It's perfect.
Yeah, the viewers shot up.
Yeah. We've gone into tens of viewers now, and it was a lot like in The Wizard of Oz when you saw her shoes and her socks underneath the house, and then they curled up. You knew it was over. That's kind of what it was like for us. All the munchkins came onto the street, and we rejoiced.
It's amazing. Well, thanks, guys. You guys are doing wonders for my confidence. All right. Well, I guess this wraps up the show. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Neil Lebovits, it's always a pleasure, sir. And Tim Madden, I think we'll have you on again, man, as you're a great guest. And I think there's a lot of areas that we can still explore about branding, about linked automations that we can still go into, which you have huge knowledge on, which you can help us with. But in the meantime, let's do this. I'm going to leave this with let you promo yourself, because I know you work with recruiters. If for example, if a recruiter has somebody that they can't help, they can always refer them over to you. So how do people get in touch with you for something like that? Yeah, so the easiest way would be shoot me an email, tim@execupgrades.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn, Tim Madden, Exec Upgrade. So those are the two places I'm connected at the hip. So if you have a director, VP, or exec who just can't help, but they're really good at what they do, I can absolutely help them get connected for their next opportunity. And Tim's got a great track record. I've known Tim for a while. His shit's good. So I'll be and I don't say that lightly. All right. So and as far as Neil, you have anything you want to share, kind of to close things out as far as final word or any things you've got going on business wise?
The word is, like with any of these sessions, get on to the stuff we talked about with LinkedIn, change what you're doing, do it, get it moving today. And anything you've been putting off, just do it, man. Just stop any of the procrastination, period.
As Shia LaBeouf said, very wise man, do it.
I tell you, how many times I quote LaBeouf? What's it, LaBeouf or LaBeouf?
LaBeouf. Well, so for me, folks, again, thank you, everybody. One last thing, I will say this, not to promote myself, but I have a sales boot camp next week, 3 days. If you can't make them live, that's cool. It's all going to be recorded. I'm throwing in bonuses every single day. It is going to be tight, $97. Best $97 you could ever find. Yes, I'm sure I'll try to upsell at the end, but look, you're going to get so much value out of it. Not going to matter. So check that out. And with all that being said, yeah, I guess we're done.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Hey, thank you for watching Headhunters and Boxers Talking Smack. Who doesn't love Headhunters and Boxers? And who doesn't love talking smack? Join the show every Friday, 12 noon Eastern, live in the Headhunter and Executive Recruiter community. Make sure you click one of these boxes here and watch some of these videos or something. I don't know what's going on here. I just work here.